evening, I'm Jackie Spate. Close to 100 mobile phones have been found in the possession of inmates at the Namboro and Corvo correction centers. The find has yet again questioned the vigilance and integrity of corrections officers and security measures put in place. Mika Longa with this exclusive story.
The Corrections Department is in shock following this latest find and is baffled as to how the mobile phones have landed in the hands of inmates, given the tight security provided in all its corrections facilities.
I can confirm we recently seized or confiscated contrabands from the Suva Correction Center. Not only in Suva, we also managed to confiscate items from Namboro, our four prisons in Namboro. Contrabands, these are prohibited articles which include mobile phones, SIM cards, even tobacco, drugs.
FBC News has gathered from impeccable sources that the mobile phones and the items were carefully wrapped in plastic and hidden in the anal passage of inmates. The items were discovered after the inmates were instructed to squat. An investigation has been launched to establish how the mobile phones and items bypassed the watchful eyes of corrections officers. The department is quick to point a finger at visitors to the corrections facility, at the same time going back to the drawing board to see where the loopholes were.
The sad thing about this, Mika, is that these contrabands are being brought in by visitors themselves. And what people must understand is that this does not help the situation at all. Because when we find contrabands on inmates, their privileges are taken away from them.
This is not the first time security at the correction centers have been breached. It rather highlights and questions yet again the integrity of officers. It is hoped that investigations into this latest incident will finally put an end to security breaches in our correction centers. One can only hope this happens sooner, as the country is still trying to get over the use of technology in the recent prison breakout. Mika Longa, FBC News.
A 19-year-old student is tonight in police custody for instigating the fight between Maris Brothers High School and Suva Grammar School, in which 3 students were injured. The Maris student has been charged with assault and will appear in court tomorrow. Students of both schools have been warned by the Police Commissioner Brigadier General Ioane Naivalurua that they have to stop such brawls or face the consequences. Fusito Kote Wasawasa reports.
The latest brawl happened yesterday afternoon at Flagstaff when students of Maris Brothers High School threw objects at a bus carrying students of Suva Grammar. The attack landed 2 Suva Grammar students in hospital. This prompted the police commissioner to visit both schools today and issue a warning to the students.
1, let's stop the nonsense. 2, let's not be stupid. The things that we do. When the problem is small, we keep it small. When the problem is big, we try and make it small. I'm here to assist in making the problem small and finally resolving it.
The principal of Maris Brothers High did not mince his words to the students, saying that the latest incident has tainted the humble reputation of the school.
Why stoop so low? And in doing so, you have brought the name of the school down to the dirt. And it will be really hard for us to bring that good name of the school back, because everybody knows now that Maris condones violence through your actions.
Atalifo fears that the actions of the few in the brawl will also mean harm to the younger students. From today, students of Maris are under curfew. Any further incidents will not be tolerated.
This afternoon, 4 o'clock, the school finishes 10 past 3 this afternoon. We will not have culture today. So school will end at 10 past 3. 4 o'clock, the teachers will be sent out. Now, if you are seen in uniform, still in town, your names will be put together with these names for immediate transfer.
Marist All Boys President Nasbit Hazelman also expressed his concern and disappointment.
I want you all now to divert all your energy into the upcoming exams in a few weeks' time. So all the testosterone that you're building up inside of you, I want that to move towards study.
Police officers will be deployed to both schools and in town to ensure that things do not escalate any further. Vosita Kote Wasawasa, FBC News.
Amalgamated Telecom Holdings says it was inevitable to send Kindernet employees home as it undergoes a reorganization. This after Fintel disclosed yesterday that Kindernet cannot continue to compete in the open market. ATH board chair Ranjit Korogoda says the increasing competition within the local ICT industry has made it necessary and unavoidable for the ATH group to relook at its business's structure for its continued financial growth. He says Kindernet was competing with ATH subsidiaries which were providing the same services. Korogoda explained the job losses will be compensated for. 12 more staff of Kindernet are expected to be laid off next Friday. 10 employees lost their jobs last Friday. The current constitutional process will further boost the investment sector. Economist Professor Biman Prasad says there is a need to further reform the ICT sector in Fiji, which will see an enabling environment for private sector investments. Devna Ryan has more.
Speaking at the Fiji Economy Update in Suva this morning, Prasad says it is evident that private sector investment in Fiji has dropped over the last 2 decades. He believes the current constitutional process will further build confidence in the economy.
If we go ahead with the elections in 2014, and the expectation of the election itself will create a much better, enabling environment for private sector investment and indeed, economic growth generally. So I think we are on the road to creating and setting up a very clear foundation, and we must not deviate from that.
While ICT sector plays an important role for investment, Prasad says there has been a misconception that Fiji is too small to have many ICT players.
We should look at the structure in which they currently operate. For example, if you want to change from Vodafone to Digicel, you can't have the same number. And I think that is a very, very simple change in the structure which will allow more efficient and better competition between the players.
The Commerce Commission is currently undertaking reforms in the telecommunications industry.
Currently, you'll know Digicel, Vodafone, telecommunications, they have their own antennas and facilities. So they're working on how they will be able to share these facilities.
Fiji's telecommunication sector is headed by Vodafone, Digicel and Telecom. Devnarayan, FBC News.